Hi, everyone. All right, we're getting better at this. No, we're not. Hey, woo! Woo! Utah Hockey Club, huh? Now that third period, that had drama. It had all the stuff in it that you're gonna love and enjoy when you watch for that. Yes, veggie for the Vesna. I love it, Owen. I love it. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Vamelka, yeah. Veggie Tales. A real veggie tale tonight. Karel Vamelka, the Czechoslovakian goalkeeper, who honestly, honestly, looms so large inside the net. You would think that he was the Great Salt Lake. He was really hard for Carolina to beat tonight. This game was completely and totally stolen tonight by Karel Vamelka. There's a lot of other really good play, and we can talk more about that. But two things. Typically, your average goaltenders, 90% save percentage. Tonight, 98 save percentage, 98% saved by Vamelka. What else can you say? His style is so different from what you see from Connor Ingram. And so it's either boom or bust, and it's based on how he's feeling. It's based on a lot of things. The defense did a pretty good job at making sure that the shots were not coming at him from a place where it was more difficult for him to deal with. But it's certainly the case that Vamelka is an athletic style goalkeeper who is flashy and really moves around. And we saw, there's times where, like Connor Ingram definitely won't do like the full, like all the way around thing that you see Vamelka do. Like Vamelka will make a save, and then if it goes behind the net, like he'll literally just swivel and turn around and watch and then quickly swivel back around. He does the whole 360, and it's pretty wild. Pretty wild. He did that a few times. And anyway, the point though is that we got a chance to see Karel Vamelka put together a really nice performance tonight. 49 saves. And there's another factor on why there were so many saves put in by Karel Vamelka. And one of those big reasons is that I love the way, and I'll catch that in 1 second. I love the way that Vamelka was able, one of the things that Carolina does is that Carolina just sends in shots. They just send them in. That's what they do. Their general manager is a huge analytics guy. He's a genius. His name's Eric Tulsky. I followed Eric Tulsky for a long time. He was a writer for Fansite that I liked. And he's a genius, Eric Tulsky. And he went from being a blogger to then working for the Carolina Hurricanes for many years to now he's the new general manager for the Hurricanes. So it's pretty awesome. All right. He caught a couple times, though. Right. The blocks helped out a bunch tonight. Yeah, there's no question. So, look, in terms of how many shots came in, part of that, again, is Carolina. They're just so disciplined at just like fire the puck, fire the puck, fire the puck. You'd love to see a little bit more dominance in the neutral zone and in the offensive zone to limit how many shots are going to come in. Technically speaking, like on average, Carolina would have scored 5 goals tonight, just, if the Vamelka would have just been average. But tonight he was really, really excellent. And yeah, you're right. The block shots from the defense tonight, there were so many of them. Sergachev, I think, had like 6 block shots tonight. Ian Cole had many block shots. Kesselring block shots. Like, it's a thankless play, but it should be called out. That's a good point. And I think, the number is that I saw was that, and I can look this up, but for now we'll just say that it was over 30 block shots tonight. So, 50 shots on goal, 30 blocks in total. That's 80 shots on goal, like full Corsi in terms of advanced stat. And that's a lot of shots to have to defend. So that speaks to some trouble that they potentially had in the neutral zone. It speaks to, again, it speaks to the discipline for Carolina to just drive the puck to the net. They do not faff around, It's one of those, Eric Tulsky, absolutely, I promise you, would not want, or he wouldn't go out of his way to try to trade for Clayton Keller. Maybe in a couple years when that contract's looking better because of the cap number. But given the style of play that they want, what they want, from that, that's one of the things. It's interesting, though, that aggression, that sort of aggression of driving the puck to the net is exactly how Utah got all 4 of their goals tonight. And so that style can really work. It does, mean that you have a lot of chances and there's lots of saves to be had. It's not crazy for opposing goaltenders to get tons of saves against the Hurricanes, but the Hurricanes have been scoring 5 goals a game pretty consistently going into this. This really does come back to, like, Vejmelka played terrific, and he was absolutely electric out there. And I thought that the athleticism that he showed, some of the wildness that he showed, going from, post to post and finding ways to get his body in front. And then the other thing with Vejmelka is that if you watch old film or games where it's really gotten out of hand for him, it's rebounds. It's he doesn't, put things over into the corner if he can. That's something Ingram's, a little bit better at traditionally. Like, usually on the average, you would think rebound control is a little bit better for Connor Ingram. But Vejmelka tonight on rebounds was he was rock solid, and he was covering up, and you can't help but be really impressed with what we saw tonight from Connor Ingram, or excuse me, from Karel Vejmelka. So Vejmelka tonight was the story. He is the story. He's the reason. And, it's pretty cool because he's the backup. I think that his story is that when he first got to Arizona, I think there was a chance where he thought that maybe he could be the number 1 guy. They brought in Connor Ingram. Ingram kind of got hot. He played well. He had lots of shutouts and had performances that he was putting in, and the next thing you knew, we weren't getting a lot of anything except for Connor Ingram. And so Connor Ingram sort of established himself as the number 1 last season. He played really well. He hasn't been very good this year, like by the stats. But yeah, pretty awesome. Yeah. Yes. That's a lot of saves, right? That's a lot of goals saved against expected, right? So that's a huge number. You can't lie, right? The fact of the matter is that there was unbelievable amounts of shots. And then the last part of this one is that Utah is a bad penalty killing team. I hate it when they go to the box because they're not good at killing penalties. They don't have like 2 full units of penalty killers that you'd feel good about. But tonight, in that third period, they killed 10.5 minutes of penalties. That's a lot of effing penalty time to kill off. That's pretty crazy. And it all started with Carcone, right? Why was Michael Carcone? I get that the fans love fights, and maybe it looked like there was a fight that was being asked for, but you just got momentum. You scored 3 goals pretty quick, back to back to back. Third period, you've taken control of the game. You've grabbed the game. You have it. That's not really the time to get an instigator penalty and then a fighting and a game misconduct, so that you go and give up the 7-minute power play. That was not great. And then with 30 seconds left, they have the hooking that happens, and then Bukestad comes out of the box and he puts puck over glass, and so 10.5 minutes of penalty kill in a single period. I mean, that is tons. And it was like 10.5 of the last like 13 minutes was on penalty kill. And they survived. They made it through it. And again, so much of that was blocked shots, bodies being in the way. They went all the way deep. Everybody on that bench got plenty of opportunities to play a little bit on the penalty kill tonight. They were able to survive it. The one goal they did give up was on the penalty kill, the power play for that NHS, right? I mean, that guy's awesome. So it was a great shot by him. It was able to get it by Vejmelka on a night where basically nothing was getting by him. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome. Pretty exciting stuff. Hey, welcome in, Car Wash Channel. I love it. I imagine that is just a bunch of like ASMR videos of people going through a car wash, and that sounds like a freaking awesome channel. Gotta say, sounds pretty good. You could see all the nice, beautiful colors and the swishing and the back and forth. So anyway, welcome. Thanks for commenting in the chat. Lacrosse goal AU as well, and then Owen Wilson's here. Wow. Really, really grateful for your participation. So let's talk a little bit more about the game. You know, one of the things that I think is most important for the Utah Hockey Club to generate their offense, and it's something I've been banging the drum on these after the game streams that I've been doing, is I think it's absolutely nuts that given the amount of skill that the Utah Hockey Club has and how deadly they can be, they always want to try to get you sort of the Sports Center highlight goal instead of just doing the hard work. And so, they don't drive the net. They don't go and make it hard on opposing teams as often as they should. But in the thing that really unlocked things, the reason it started to pick up and get going in that third period and that momentum started going there is this, they just ruthlessly continued to push the puck to the net. And as they pushed the puck to the net, they found ways to get rebounds and chances to put the puck back. First goal by Bukestad was like that. The second goal by Bukestad was like that. The Sergachev goal, that was because we were just driving the puck to the net and there was players there at the net. That was where they were. And, yeah, so that's where we're at. Okay, Blake Lees, a Kraken fan. The Kraken. All right, Blake. He asks, what did the NHL change between the expansion teams in Las Vegas and Seattle Kraken and the Utah Hockey Club? Why was Vegas so successful? Well, look, I think from a technical standpoint, the expansion draft was no different between the Las Vegas and the Seattle expansion. I think Vegas has been more aggressive as an organization than Seattle has in terms of making changes. Frankly, the coaches that they had in Vegas have been much better than the ones they had in Seattle. I think Dave Haxtell is not a great coach and was really, really bad there for a while. So, and I don't know. Is he still there this year? They might have moved on from Haxtell. I think that's a good move. Utah Hockey Club, while technically an expansion, is not really. It's just a relocation of the Arizona team coming the other way. So that would be the biggest difference between Utah Hockey Club and Vegas and Seattle is just that the Utah Hockey Club had to just take whatever the Arizona Coyotes had rolling and make it work. Whereas Seattle had to take, the expansion draft rules, which was you could protect 8 skaters and 1 goalie, and then everyone else was up for expansion. So all the franchises could do that. Okay, so they have Dan Bialsma now. Bialsma, yeah. Okay, yeah, he's better. He's did some great things with the Penguins. Of course, if you got Crosby, Malkin, and those guys, Letang, like you ought to do some nice things in Pittsburgh. But yeah. I think things are getting better for Seattle. I mean, yeah. it's a good move to move on from Hackstall. I'll tell you that much. He was a guy that only, I mean, he did very well in college as a college coach. I think he made it to the Frozen Four a couple times. Might have even won. I think he was at North Dakota, but anyway, then he went to the Flyers and it was a mess. And then yeah, I went to Seattle and it didn't go very well. I think, Blake, I think that's the main thing that I would say is it's just that Vegas, they were able to get Marchessault. They were able to get, Wild Bill Carlson has ended up being a lot better for them than they thought. And then they've just been incredibly aggressive in the trade and free agent markets and not very loyal. Not very loyal to their guys, but have been ruthless in pursuit of a cup and have done that. So anyway, that would be my feeling on what's going on with Seattle. And then for Utah Hockey Club, I think that this team, it's really frustrating because, again, the skill level is there, but the discipline and kind of the overall consistency to do the hard stuff is not always present. But tonight, there was a huge commitment to blocking shots, and that's an important element, especially when you play the Hurricanes, right? I mean, it sucks to get, Sergachev took the puck to the back of the head. This wasn't on a shot, but, the Stenlin hit to his ear, that looked terrible. But, yeah, I mean, I think that it's a thankless thing to get hit by a puck in front of the goalie and deflect that. And it was a ton of shots that were taken overall. If you went full Corsi and you measured all the shots that were blocked, missed, on net, and then in the net, that's what I mean by Corsi. It's an advanced stat. Then there's one that's called, just to teach for a second, there's one called Fenwick, and Fenwick is where you get rid of blocked shots, and so you can measure shots that are getting through. And that might help you figure out what the efficiency of an offense is in terms of putting shots on net, what the quality of their looks like, and then if none of them are going in, you can kind of measure off of those things. But the overall driving of play is usually what you look at when you look at Corsi numbers, and the Corsi numbers are always just nuts for Carolina, always. Again, their general manager, Eric Tulsky, he is just obsessed with trying to drive the puck to the net, get as many shots on net, and you get puck luck, you get rebounds, you get scrambling defenses, and the attrition of just shooting that many times. Plus, as a hockey player, it's really fun to shoot the puck, right? It's more fun to send the puck on net and see if you can get something to happen for you. So yeah, pretty impressive stuff for the. I love what Carolina does. It hasn't happened for them in the postseason, and I don't know exactly what's going on in that scenario. And we'll see. But you do have to like what Rod Brindamore does with that team in conjunction with Eric Tulsky. But Vejmelka. You can make all the plans that you want, but if Karel Vejmelka is in the net and he is feeling strong and athletic, it's simply going to be an impossibility to beat the Utah Hockey Club. All right, let's not get carried away with it. That being said, I am not sure that Patrick Waugh himself has ever had a better game in net. I'm teasing, of course. So the backup goalie puts in the first huge performance of the year, and 49 saves in a game for that. Lots of block shots in front of him. Okay, let's go just more into detail about this thing that I've talked about in previous streams, but I also think is just super critical to understanding, where Utah Hockey Club can improve as the season, progresses. So there's a couple things. Part of it is zone dominance, and I think that there's ways to think about zone dominance. I like thinking about it in terms of how many expected goals are you trying to generate in the offensive zone, not in terms of how much possession time you have in the offensive zone. Like, if you look at possession time in the offensive zone tonight, like, Carolina's is going to be nuts because they were on the power play for 10 and a half minutes in the third period, and they shot a lot. But part of what was going on there is just they were dominant through the neutral zone. They were dominant through most of this game. There was just that 3-minute period during the third period where Jack McBain scored, and Michael Kesselring's move in the neutral zone to then split right down the middle of the defense. Carolina got too sucked into those boards, right? They got too far to the boards. They over-leveraged themselves. They got too many players, in between the dots and the boards. They needed to stay to the middle. And, Kesselring is a lot better skater than I think. The word is not out yet on Michael Kesselring and what he can do on the blue line for the Utah Hockey Club. Kesselring made that cut, went straight up into the middle, drove to the net. He didn't screw around. He just went straight to the net and then made the nice dish over to McBain. And McBain didn't do anything fancy either. He just shoveled it at the net and was able to get it in. It was a great finish. Same thing as a little bit of unlucky break for Carolina. Svechnikov's skate breaks after a puck hits it. That takes him out of the play. Utah then goes forward, and Sergachev doesn't screw around. He just throws it on net, and they make the goal there. And then the other Bukestad goal happens again. It comes from Kesselring, but again, the puck went behind the net. It came out in front. They just quickly put it on net. It was saved. Rebound came out, and Bukestad shoveled that thing in. And so I don't understand why they don't try to get more of that style of goal. There's so frequently the case that this young team prefers to turn their shoulder, circle, and begin to look for the cross-seam pass that is hard to complete. It'd be cool to hit the big sauce. It'd be cool to sauce to the one-timer and just like rip it, and it looks awesome. And when that happens, like, you feel like a golden god because you were able to have that happen. But what feels better is just lighting the lamp and getting it going. And so I don't know. I think that the frustrating part is those habits are in place, and the culture of that is in place because there hasn't been enough talent on this team. But the addition of Logan Cooley, who only picked it up the second half of the season last year. Dylan Gunther only played the second half of the season last year. Like, it's a new thing. Kesselring coming along. Like, there's a lot of new talent on this team that is increasing what is possible for this team. So guys like Keller and Smaltz, they don't need to try to just do a weave and do the slow cycle on the outside. They don't need to do that anymore. They need to find ways to link up together and create shots as they go through. And then beyond that, instead of looking for those moments, they need to trust. There's a lack of trust in a lot of the plays and decisions they make in their teammates going and forechecking and winning that forecheck, or going down and getting low and driving the net and getting their puck, their stick to the puck, and finding a way to put it in the back of the net. There isn't enough trust amongst this squad to make those things come together. And so instead of, sending it in deep or beyond that, skating in deep, driving down to the goal line, even along the boards, and then, tapping it behind the net and then telling people, signaling for the forecheck to take place. None of those things happen. It's quickly the turn, but then it's very rarely the pass back out to the blue line. And so then now we're skating away from the net, and we're going back towards the blue line, and a stick comes in and we're going the other way. Like, it makes it a lot easier on the defense when they're making those choices. But during this kind of bad stretch of play for the Utah Hockey Club, like the last 10 games not been great. When it's been bad, it has always been because they have not been just driving to the net and just focusing on getting the puck to the net and, making it so that the goalie has to save a shot from 2 feet away instead of 20 feet away. There's just less time to react to a shot from 2 feet away. It's hard to get shots from 2 feet away. Shooting from the slot and getting shots into the slot and going in and paying the price for trying to go in the slot and get a shot off. That's just not the sort of stuff that can happen. I posted a video where I was confused and I'm not sure what Lawson Krause is. I've gone back and watched a lot more of his highlights. And it seems to me that, like, the thing about Lawson Krause is he used to, like, make lots of hits, and he's still making a lot of hits, but, like, it's funny, I can't remember any of them, but the stat sheet says he's making lots of hits. I just can't remember any of them. But the bigger thing is like, I'd love to see Lawson Krause be able to get into the slot and go pay the price. He's 6'5", he's 200 pounds, he skates well, he's tough. Like, his stick's pretty good. He's scored 20 goals in this league. Like, this is something that he can absolutely do. And do we see Lawson Krause down in those areas that often? No, we don't. We don't. At least not this season. And that is exactly the sort of thing that they need to do so that when other things aren't working out, they can just go to that stuff and work on that stuff and try to make those things come together for them. So, yeah. So, the approach of it all, they decided to play from the outside. They weren't getting that many pucks to the net. They were cruising. And we saw the goalie was not playing great. He just wasn't playing great for the Hurricanes. But he didn't have to. He didn't face that much. Kochetkov, I mean, he wasn't tasked with doing all that much. He faced 18 shots. He gave up 3 goals, So they needed to do a better job. And then as soon as Martin came in, it was awesome to see them just go and barnstorm the net and see what they could do to create the problems in those scenarios. But yeah. So anyway, I do think that is part of the issue that this team has, part of their inconsistency. Because the thing is hard work, driving the net, those things suck and they're hard physically. But they're the sort of things that if you do them consistently, you do them game in and game out, you're going to have an opportunity to score every single game and create lots of opportunities and lots of chances. And, once you do that hard work and you keep the puck on one end of the ice and you're dominating, you're having zone dominance and you're starting to keep the puck and tilt the ice a little bit, it has a way of building momentum and giving you space and hemming in the other team. And then when the defensive players are tired, then you have a chance to find a way to get these cross seam passes and get your highlight reel goals. And the thing is like, it's so wonderful to have players that have this elite level of skill. It is awesome to see that a player like, Dylan Guenther has the shot that he has, and that Logan Cooley can do some of the things on the puck that he can, and that Clayton Keller can be such a threat on it. And they keep saying that Schmaltz is going to get going, and it is crazy that he hasn't scored yet, given how many opportunities he's had. But Schmaltz as well, right? I mean, he's been a very good goal scorer for this team. And so I think that one of the things that's very fascinating about the future of the team is that they have Michelli. They've got a bunch of guys that have a lot of skill that can create some really dazzling goals and some awesome moments on the ice. What they need is the ability to go and get some of those hard work goals. And that's what you saw. Bukestad he got a hard work goal tonight. He got 2 of them. And that's great. McBain got a hard work goal that came on honestly the best part of skill that we saw on the ice tonight. There's 2 moments. Kesselring through the neutral zone, that move that he made to split right down the middle defense, basically have a breakaway opportunity, even though when he was coming forward, there were 4 Carolina skaters. He was able to weave his way through all of it, draw so much attention, get behind, and then make the sweet pass over to McBain. That was really, really nice work. So maybe McBain doesn't get credit for the hard work goal. That was just a Kesselring creating something out of nothing. But the Sergachev, Bukestad, and Bukestad goal, those are absolutely, we're just trying to drive the puck to the net, and we were able to get it. And of course, the Sergachev driving the puck to the net, that was pretty sweet when he hit the top corner of it. Lawson Krause had an opportunity to score. It hit the crossbar, and again, that was him just putting a puck on the net, and it went over Kochekhov's shoulder and hit the crossbar. But again, it wasn't a beautiful one-timer. It wasn't a back and forth. It wasn't a toe drag or anything like that. It was just a send it that way and let's see if we can get it by him. So they almost had a 4th goal past Kochetkov tonight. And so anyway, I'm really, I would, if they could find a way to decide that they were happy to do the hard work goals and to go into those tough areas and to, not look to do the cycle, not look to generate for themselves because they're going around the outside of the ice. Like if they found a way to make it so that they were able to generate skill-based, like full skill-based, all the hard work and those dirty areas, there's skill to all of that. But, skill-based, top-end talent type plays while also getting goals because you're just working your tail off. That's kind of what you need to do to put yourself in the position to be, one of the best teams. You think about what, for the longest time, the Oilers had a hard time breaking through. They got to the Stanley Cup final this last time because, they added guys like, Zach Hyman started to do the hard work goals, and they paired him along, and they finally found a good third person to go with Draisaitl and McDavid, and Zach Hyman was that element where he could go, and as the shots were being driven to the net, he was able to create extra opportunities and tuck the puck back in the net. Right now, there's Bukestad, there's Barrett Hayton. There hasn't been somebody that's taken that mantle and taken that on and decided to be that for this team yet. But again, I'd love to see Barrett Hayton put that together. Barrett Hayton's quick shot between the legs, that was another nice bit of skill. And then there's a moment actually where Logan Cooley was the one-man breakout because of his stick moves. And I don't know if you caught it, but he had 2 players closing in on him, and he just made a couple just sick stick moves. He got them 10 feet away from him, and then he was able to just skate through the neutral zone with it. So it's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive what these players can do. Okay, so that's it. Story of this game. Sometimes you need a goalie to steal a game for you. And at the end of the day, you can't do anything special. You can't be a Stanley Cup winning team. You cannot make a playoff run. You can make the playoffs, which is solid goaltending. But to make a playoff run, you have to have a goalie that's going to still one game every single series, at minimum. To win it all, you probably need a guy that'll steal you 2 games every single series. Bobrovsky did it last time, and Florida won. Aiden Hill for the Vegas Golden Knights went crazy and stole a Stanley Cup for Vegas. He played terrific during their run to the Cup. So occasionally you got to have a goalkeeper flash so they can do this, and that is the big takeaway. Is that Vejmelka showed that at least on this night, or on the occasional night, because he's had good nights before in Arizona, he has the ability to steal a game for you. And with all the courage in front of net, with all the block shots, with everything else that happened in the game, with the tremendous heart that was shown to kill off 10.5 minutes of penalty minutes in the third period. I'm looking at the penalty minutes. There's 25-2. Utah, they just, for being bad at killing penalties, they sure love to go to the box. But tonight, they were good at killing penalties. They had a 3-goal lead. They had a little swag behind them, and they were able to kill off 10.5 minutes of penalties and find a way to come away with the victory against the Carolina Hurricanes. The next challenge is the Vegas Golden Knights. The Utah Hockey Club will take on Vegas at the Delta Center. And it should be a good matchup. The previous game against Vegas was clearly dominated by Vegas, but a couple high-end talent plays happened that kept Utah in it. They were able to steal a point, I believe, and then they fell in overtime. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do and the kind of focus they have. And again, this roller coaster, this up and down. We play good against some teams. We don't play good against other teams. The last game of the road trip, we're just going to mail it in and lose 4-0 to Nashville and really not look like competitive in that, you know. They play up, they play down because they're a young team. This is not and the coach is inexperienced too. And it's like, this is not a group that knows what it means to just bring it every single night. This is not a group that knows what it means to be desperate to win, to have different ways to win a hockey game. This is a team that looks different when they have the lead versus when they have the when they're behind. Like when they have the lead, they're great front runners, right? But they're not good in pursuit. They're not good at coming back. If they get down early, they're really hard. If they score the first goal through this whole season, if Utah scores the first goal, they're taking away at least 1 point in the game. So all of those things just say youth, inexperience. And even though, you know, you can bring in old guys like Bortuzzo, you can bring in Stanley Cup champions like Sergachev, like Mata. It just doesn't change the fact that, you know, you've got a bunch of guys on this team who are like 24 years old or younger, who are important players on this team, and they're like 19 or 20, and they are yet to have learned that consistency is the last thing that comes, right? Of the truly great. The ability to consistently produce and play at a level that, you know, puts you in a position and gives you a chance to win. That's the hardest part to figure out. So we will see. This is why there's probably 2 or 3 more years in this process. There's a couple more roster moves that need to happen. And so we'll see what happens. But can't say enough about Karel Vejmelka tonight and how impressive he was. Cannot say enough. He played incredibly well, and kudos to Veggie tonight. Terrific performance for Vejmelka. And it'll be interesting to see, because with a performance like that, you definitely need to get him back in there. I don't know that he definitely needs to be the like clear number 2 for this team, especially because that's the best goalie performance this franchise has ever had. So the question is, like, what do you do, right? It's been clear that Ingram's been the clear number one. Vejmelka had been number two for sure. The question is like, could you do like a 1A, 1B, and you get a lot more games for Karel Vejmelka as the season goes along. I think it warrants some consideration. So that's it. If you've enjoyed the live stream tonight, please consider subscribing. Give the little thumbs up in the video just underneath. That's a cool thing to do. It helps me out a little bit, and it's fun to hang out with you. To those of you who participated and shared in the chat, I appreciate you stopping in. And yeah. That's all we have. So yeah, all right, Owen Wilson, thanks again. Thanks for hanging out. You were here at the beginning all the way to the end. Appreciate you, my friend. And we haven't met, but we are friends. So appreciate you being here with me tonight. Hopefully we'll see you again real soon. All right, take it easy. And Utah Hockey Club winners 4-1 over the Carolina Hurricanes at the Delta Center.